their voting force could make a big political impact. Why would that be? Because we know as Democrats that every single one of those votes is going to count. And so even if we could only get 4 or 5 extra votes in every precinct, that might actually be cumulatively enough votes to make the difference for us in an election. And so that's why Mark thought it was, was so generous in this invitation for me to come and talk to y'all, because there are people who are active, Latinos who are active here in McDowell County and in District 10. And I think what we could be doing is putting you all who are the party activists together with those folks who are active in the Latino community, and let's turn out the voters that are like myself. United States citizens, registered to vote, and those of us that vote Democrat. And let's find a way to attract and include the people that are in either the others or those who are unaffiliated. And I think some Republicans also, some who have marked the Republican box. Because one thing we know that's happening nationally, and I think it's happening here in North Carolina, is that the Republicans who have been talking about English only, English is the official language, they're actually helping to realign the ethnic politics. Because while they may be thinking, we're going after and to broaden our base of people who may be anti-immigrant and pro-English only, and that's not to say that there aren't Latinos that are pro-English, because there are. But what I think is happening is that the Republican Party is actually driving away some of those Latino Republicans with red flags like this English only, as well as with things like building a 700-mile wall to be the answer, the one and only answer. And so I think what we can do is sort of look at where there might be this opportunity. I also believe that what we can do as Democrats, when the Republicans ask us or tell us, well, then you all are pro-illegal aliens. And we can say, well, you know what? We're for a strong board. We're for strong border security. We're for people being identified if they're here in this country. And so far, you all have had the power in the House, in the Senate, and in the White House, and have done nothing for immigration reform. The House passed a bill last fall. The Senate could not come to a decision about what it wanted, or it did, but there's been no compromise. And so, who's responsible for us not having immigration reform by now, that they've been talking about it for over a year? That the President Bush in 2004 at his State of the Union, this was an issue that he said. Who's been responsible for the do nothing in Congress has been the Republicans. And I think that when they come to us and they say, well, yeah, this might be part of your party base, but are you talking about registering people that are here illegally? No. We're talking about electing and registering people who are interested in the security of our country and also in the upholding of our laws. Like I said, the Latino community is just as interested in that we have security and secure border as others are. So I hope that what I've kind of told you all a little bit tonight is about what an impact we could have in terms of opening those doors and inviting those folks who are already active to step in with us. And we've already, through the caucus, have translated into Spanish information that people want to hear about in terms of our democratic platform on education, our democratic platform on access to health care, and on national security. Those things are already available in Spanish, but I really don't think we need those, especially because we only have this 54 days. I think that the voters that we should be going after in the Latino community are those that are like myself, that are bilingual, Spanish-speaking, English-speaking, that the GOTV information that we're already using is what we can use. But now I will tell you that like our community, like the African American community, and like the Anglo community, very nucleus family oriented. And so if there are parents in the household who may not be eligible to vote yet, you can bet that they're going to be reminding their 18-year-old and older U.S. citizen children that they need to be registered to vote and to vote. And so when we may meet somebody, or we may maybe know somebody through our church or through our work in the community, and we know that somebody's not registered to vote, but we know they have children that are U.S. citizens. Those are also the people that we can go after in terms of their sphere of influence and how we could be getting that vote out. I'm available and happy to help you all if y'all decide y'all want to do a phone bank. I think we could probably get enough volunteers to be calling through the list like we did for Patsy's campaign, like I hope we do for some races in Buncombe County, to be able to call the Latino voters and say, early voting starts next week. Let's be sure to be there. Our voice isn't going to get heard until we get ourselves to the polls. And it's the same message the Democrats are telling, I know, we're telling our neighbors and our friends, the same thing. So that's the same message that we could be sharing with our Latino community. I hope these numbers that Mark and I put together have been helpful. I'm happy to take any questions if you all have any about how we can do this together. The State Board of Elections has just recently hired a program specialist. She's fluent in Spanish, and she's been doing outreach across the state. So I think there's an opportunity, and we need to maybe bring it to their attention. And I'll make a note to myself to do that also, is maybe to call Maria. And she's really helpful. Maria Williams, the State Board of Elections. It's her job to sort of help everybody, but she's been really willing to help me to do some things here in the western part of the state because, they want to see the participation rate go up also. So that would be a good question for in terms of it being 81.
Another reason I really wanted Edna to be here tonight is because I took a quick look at the U.S. Census figures, and they make estimates. And this is, it's no great earth-shattering news that this is a fast-growing part of our population. They have I didn't bring the figures with me, but you can get on the U.S. Census website. Total population of North Carolina now is between 5 and 6 million. I don't remember exactly where, but they estimate that the Latino population is about 500 and some thousand. So closing in on 10% of the state population. That's considerably less than the African American population, which is about 21% or something, if I'm remembering off the top of my head right. But these are our voters, and we really, there's no question we need to pay attention and go after them, because this is just going to continue to increase, and this is the beginning of the future of the Democratic Party. So Edna will be active. She also has a home in Houston, so she's sort of part-time here and part-time there, I guess, but has volunteered to be as active as possible. She's already passed out over 1,000 of those Spanish language DNC, what the Democratic Party stands for, door to door over in the 11th district. So she is in touch with a lot of great organizers, and if you have additional questions.
Let me we go out and register these people. According to what this is true, what he's talking about, they go back over those Social Security numbers and start purging them out. How do we know they're legal voters?
We don't.
Well,
and if you go out there and register a bunch of them, and depending on your basic vote for that, then you're in trouble.
Well, I trained about 70 volunteers in the Latino community in the western part of the state about a month ago. And when I do my training, I always tell people the very first question on the voter registration form that's asked is if you are you a U.S. citizen? And so we ask everybody straight out. We ask them if you are a U.S. citizen. And I have learned that if people hesitate, they may be embarrassed to tell me they're in line. I've had many of them tell me in 4 years I will be, or they're waiting. They've got their permanent legal residency. But what we have found is that when we fill out these forms, we might actually be more careful in doing it than other folks are.